Good
Ma'am,
evening, sir.
welcome. I'd like to open this edition of Amrita Café today.
Yeah,
Um,
good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome everyone for joining us live as well. Today's session of Amrita Cafe, um, we sort of we believe that a good discussion can increase the dimensions of everyone who take part in it. I'm Dr. Shauri Kutappa, and I'm an academic manager with Amrita Institutions. At Amrita Vidyapeetham, we aspire to join hands with institutions, parents, and guardians to provide value based education and mold the character of the younger generation through a system of wholesome learning. According to a recent United Nations report, the COVID 19 pandemic has created the largest disruption of education systems in history. Parents, guardians, and students are living through complexities in choosing the best options for themselves. Amrita Cafe aims at serving as a forum to table these challenges and explore solutions to cope with the current scenario. Via Amrita Cafe, we aim to provide insightful information to usher transparency in and around education. I'd like to introduce our today's panelist. Ms. Delcy Joseph is the principal at Angels Arc Senior Secondary School in Kerala. Welcome, madam.
Thank you.
Uh, Amrita Institutions and the Angels Arc School are two tools in the pursuit of similar goals. Do tell us a little about it and your institution.
Yeah, sir, actually, on May 4th of this year, 2022, I have joined there. Before I was working for Model Public School last 6 years. Actually, why I had a topic of this topic, how to build a society of responsible citizen, because I'm just working among youth and our school is a senior secondary school. So, and from the last 6 years, from the 8 years, I'm listening the same question: how can I change the society? What are the contributions I can give to my society? That is the question aroused from my students. So then I thought of that giving this topic, and I have the students from grade KG to 12. It's a senior secondary school, as you have said. It's a very good ambience. I'm so privileged and happy to work with the organization, the Angels Arc Senior Secondary School.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm so proud and privileged to be the part of this wonderful initiative, Amrita Café, organized by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Actually, many, because when I was going through your channel, actually many eminent personalities have shared their thoughts and views on multiple topics that is beneficial for our students community and for the professionals. Thank you for inviting me as a speaker in this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. For those of you just joining us, welcome once again. In this capsule today, as Ms. Joseph has just indicated, we are going to invest the next 30 to 40 minutes on looking at how we can build a society of responsible citizens. A recorded version of this webinar will be available on the Amrita Cafe YouTube channel. Ms. Joseph will throw some light on how social science is important to the society. In the discussion today, we will talk about qualities of a responsible citizen and what is the person's minimum responsibility towards society. We would love to have your queries on the topic. You're welcome to share your perspectives as well for discussion as the session unfolds. Based on the time at hand, we'll endeavor to include as many of these queries as possible. Please do include your names as well. Madam, history, that is a part of social studies, is a Greek word which literally means investigation. How do social studies help citizens become responsible and willing to contribute to societal development?
Yeah, well, Many of us think of social science as learning about history, geography, and civics, but it is so much more. The main intention and purpose of social studies is to develop good citizens from our classroom, schools, state, country, and the world. The purpose and vision teaching of social science is to develop young people who are knowledgeable, critical, and capable of making informed decisions about the world and their place in it. And to prepare young people to participate actively and responsibly in a culturally diverse, democratic, and increasingly interdependent world. Actually, the social studies education is a subject that aims to educate students to be good citizens, citizens who can live democratically and and interact positively with others. Compared to other subjects, social studies subjects have a position as the spearhead in character formation. The main character values of social studies subjects are nationalism, obedience to social rules, respect for others, responsibility, logical thinking, critical, creative, innovative, and independence. That's all about your question.
Ma'am, ma'am, tell us about your connect with the subject. I hear you've been connected with though you've been connected with this subject for a very long time. Tell us about how your connections with the subject originally emerged.
The thing is, because actually my subject is a science, but a number of youths have asked me the question multiple times that I have said before, what I can do to change the world. That was an eye-opening question to me. Young people want to change the world. They are usually aware of prevalent issues that affect them and the world, but they wonder how to go about them. They are fearless, brave, dynamic, and self confident. They have the ideas, the creativity, and the great energy to shape a better world. Young people are full of hope, and through innovation and imagination, they are problem solvers and have a great potential to generate a positive social change in the world. They are in a continuous search for opportunities that generates the desire of helping the environment, countries, communities, and families. When the youth or the question, it is continuously they are asking. So when the youth contributes his ideas and energy to resolve social issues, he becomes a capable leader, and we can also make a difference in the lives of others. They can build peer networks and find sustainable solutions through them. With persistent efforts, they can motivate people to work towards a cause. Change is possible with the passionate and continuous efforts towards making the world a better place. Actually, to celebrate youth, I think because we have to educate all the children also. To celebrate the youth and all of its characteristics, in 1985, UN declared the first International Year of Youth. The same year, young people from around the world united in Rome. During that gathering, every 2 or 3 years since then, some of the countries where the World Youth Day has been held include, I think, Italy, Canada, Germany, and all. That convened by Pope John Paul II, the institution of the World Youth Day was announced as a week-long international event. It is hard to fill a cup that is already full, but a bowl is most useful and when it is empty. So this is the reason why young people with an open mindset desire change in our society.
Ma'am, very true, very true. And they say one of the measures of intelligence is the ability to change. I think it is attributed to Mr. Einstein, I think, I'm not sure. So, how then does youth contribute directly or indirectly to this social change?
Yeah, well, it's a very important question. The thing is, actually, um, yeah, the thing I have discussed before, the youth, because we are giving importance for the subject social studies, even then, because for the not for the namesake, but for the marks, instead of scoring marks and all, if you are just teaching social science from the primary level, it would be more good. So, as I said, they are in a continuous, the youth, they are in a continuous search for opportunities that generates a desire of helping the environment, countries, communities, and families. When the youth contributes his ideas and energy to resolve social issues, he becomes a capable leader. And we can make them, we can make involve them in different activities, because social activities, leadership activities, and all, so by that, they can make a lot of changes in the society, I believe.
And ma'am, do you have some stories, some examples of youth whom you have seen over the years who have actually made such such leaps in their lives?
Yeah, well, actually, my philosophy of education is not for scoring the marks and all. Instead of, we have to give education for life. Because from the primary level onwards, we have to give some elements like respect and rules are important in building a nation and all. Because when they will because these days a lot of science, we can see that among the youths, the increasing the disrespect for parents, teachers, and leader figures. So I have read some articles and I have the personal experience. But if we are just directing them in the correct path, and if we are just engaging them in different activities, social activities, they will come up and they won't move out from the that direction. So now the height in, like, no, the self-destructive behavior is increasing. It's a decrease the sense of responsibility of individuals and citizens, because the issues like, the worsening use of language, um, the thing, the influence of peer groups on acts of violence and all. So as a teacher, or as an educationist, we can make a lot of changes among the students through the education from the primary level. All the teachers, it's a collective responsibility of us, the parents, the teachers, and the school management, to change their mindset. Yeah,
Yes,
because it's not good to share a personal experience.
ma'am.
That's yeah.
Understood. Yes, ma'am. Very true. Individuality, peace, and happiness. I think I remember this statement once, which goes like this. It says that in a democracy, the well-being, individuality, and happiness of every citizen is important for the overall prosperity, peace, and happiness of the nation. Yeah, I think it was Dr. Awul Pakir Jainuluddin Abdul Kalam, APJ Abdul Kalam. Ma'am, tell us something about the elements of social studies. The elements like respect and rules are important in building a nation. Is
Yeah.
it necessary to follow these elements? In
Yes,
what
yes,
way
yes.
and why?
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, the schools have an influence and impact on student character. This becomes an entry point to state the school that schools have duties and responsibilities to conduct moral education and character building. educational institutions, especially formal education or organized institutions, to guide, educate the nation's next generation. Definitely, the elements like respect and rules are important in national in building a nation. The thing is, as I have discussed about, so in the school level, we are just saying that, just you have to respect others. You have to learn the lesson of caring and sharing, such all the things. And because now the youth, not all the youth, at least some, they are not ready to follow the rules. Uh, they love to no redirect the policies, and they love to move in their own way. But as a teacher, as an educationist, as the citizen of the nation, definitely we have to that follow the rules. We have to respect the guidelines and rules formed by the government. Definitely, that's very important in building a nation.
Tell us something about how rules and regulations are sort of enforced in your organization.
Yeah, because we can't force them to follow the rules and regulations. As a leader should know the way, goes the way, and show the way. I believe that I should be the role model for others. First, I have to follow the rules and regulations. Then, because the teachers, the students, they all will follow. And definitely, we have to, because in the CBSE school and in all the schools, we have the special regulations and rules that they have to follow in the campus or inside the classroom, and how they have to respect others, respect the classmates, the respect the schoolmates, such all the things they know it. But even then, it is good to remind in between, or with the love we can just we can mold them, okay, just by calling their name. No need to use the harsh words to the young people or to the students, but with love and guidance, they will be in the track. Because I don't be in the statement of to impose the rules and regulations on them, but we should be the role model for them.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. As teachers, as educationalists, yes, we it is our it is on us. It is our onus to be role models. By failing to prepare, we are preparing to fail. I think Benjamin Franklin was, trying to indicate. Um, so, what is the role of a teacher in creating responsible citizens for the future?
Very good question. Very good. It's relevant. It's very important. Of course, actually, teacher play a very vital role in creating a good citizen. We are living in a society. We are interdependent. Nowadays, the family consists of three or four members. In addition to that, the favorite pastime of students is to play or spend time on the apps. Being a teacher, it's their first and foremost duty to teach them the lesson of care and share, what I have said before, and respect others in all means. As a social studies teacher is concerned, it is their complete response. Not I'm saying that complete, but it's their responsibility to teach and make them understand that the responsibilities and duties of a student or a youth to follow in this country than focus on scoring full marks in the subject. Only teachers and parents can shape their minds of the younger generation, right? Similarly, but even when the teachers and parents are trying to shape their minds, but similarly, the student must be alert to build himself with the best of qualities and to get ignited with a vision for his or her future life. The students must understand and they should have a feeling that Teachers are the pillar of strength and guiding force in students' lives. Yeah, sir.
Ma'am, yes, thank you. And uh, if I may then, sort of add to this, and I think shifting focus to uh, younger children, not just the teens, etc. Maybe somewhere around primary school, etc. What is the need of studying social science from the primary school section itself?
Yeah, that is very important. Actually, sometimes we are not giving much importance for the social studies in the primary section. But the main goal of teaching social studies is to teach students to become good citizens. We are living in a diverse society, one that requires knowledge of social studies to succeed. With a social studies background, children become adults who can participate civilly in our democratic society. The community also considers that social studies lessons are not important, nor are they of much use in daily life. The key values of democracy are opportunity, equality, justice, and the freedom of speech. These values should be echoed throughout all parts of social studies. Um, so from primary level, we have to give all the teachers, including me, we have to give more importance for the subject of social science.
Ma'am, for the less initiated or for the people who are, still not aware of the breadth and depth of what social studies actually means, could you, tell us about what all areas social studies actually covers, and how it is actually taught over the years, from primary till 10th or 12th? How does the subject actually develop? What are the areas that I believe it includes? In layman, I think a layman's knowledge is limited to history, geography, maybe political science. So tell us what all comes under social studies and how it sort of, from primary, what all is taught, and then as you go into later classes, what all is added onto the subject.
Yeah, actually, social responsibility is an ethical theory, right? In which individuals are accountable of fulfilling their civic duties, such all the things. But even from the primary level or in the social studies, because now, as I said, because in the primary level there is a subject EVS. From first grade to fourth grade it is EVS, that is the environmental science, and two chapters or three chapters they have included for the social science. Because then the rote learning, all the social studies teacher, those who are taking the social science in the class, they have to um, because then the lecture method, they have to include them for some activities. For example, like for while casting a vote, because usually for the election and all, because some schools I don't know, but someone they won't take the students from the smaller grade, and they don't know what is the importance of election, why it is, and why they are casting their vote, what is the importance of an individual, that all the things they don't know. So then all the lecture method, if any teacher is making the students in some activities, and uh, and and by that we can make them understand what is the importance of social science and what all contents it is coming, because social science is a study of like no society. And because in different articles it is different, because it comes under politics, geography, economics, a lot of things it's coming. But that all the things it's not included even in the primary grade. Um, but because regarding the economical aspects, the civics, and about the nature, the environment, how to lead a good life, even in the family, even in the classroom, even in the society. So social studies is very important than any other subjects. How to lead a good life, a child should understand, or a child should learn in the classroom how to behave properly, how to be, how we have to follow the decorum, how we have to keep the values, what all the values we have to keep. Such all the things they will learn from the social science. All the, because it's like, no, all the subjects is comes under the social science. We can tell that this particular subjects. In some articles I have read that if we study the social science, we can't bridge, we can build a bridge, we can build a house, such all the things. But I'm just thinking that because if we know the values, if we know the rules and regulations, if we know the policies, or if we know the importance of the social science, definitely they won't move for the corruption, right? So social science is very important in all the aspects.
Yes, ma'am. And as we move on to higher classes, how does the subject actually develop? How does it branch out?
Yeah,
Like we begin with environmental, studies, and
yeah,
as you
yeah.
move into higher classes, how does it
Yes.
branch out?
Yeah, from the sixth standard onwards, like history, geography, politics, economics, all the four subjects. And history, it's like, yeah, till 10th grade it is. And after 10th, it is like history, geography, politics. Under the humanities, they have to study history, geography, politics, economics. Those who are opting commerce, they have to study economics. So it's an optional subjects. And humanities also, they have to study economics. So both commerce and humanities students can opt the subjects. But than the earlier days, the students, they are very smart. They know how to build their future. They are very focused. They are very focused, and it's not based on the interest of their parents, but the students are very smart to select the subjects. I am saying that about after the 10th, but it is compulsory till the 10th. They have to study history, geography, politics, and economics.
Ma'am, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, today's youth is, really smart. Now, along with, couple of things like loyalty, dignity, morals, manners, and then, of course, there is a good character in general. What makes us, you know, be able to classify or think that we are a good person? What are the things that, makes us a good person?
Yeah. Hmm. A good citizen should have a spirit of cooperation, right? Friendliness, humanity, dedication, and devotion towards his family and society. He must respect other faiths. He must not do anything that brings disgrace to his society or to his country. He or she is having the ability to understand and be able to exercise their rights and obligations properly. As an individual who have social sensitivity and responsibility, right? So they should have the ability to solve social problems intelligently, and they should have a personal discipline attitude. Then it's like able to think critically, creatively, and innovatively. As a good citizens, they are, according to my view. And according to other experts, I think good citizens are citizens who have civic knowledge, definitely, have civic skills, that is, and have a civic disposition. Good citizens are also able to involve themselves or participate in various aspects of community, nation, and state life. Above all, greatest good of the greatest number of people should be his principle.
Ma'am, they say the price of greatness is responsibility. I think it was the British, ex-British Prime Minister Winston Churchill who said something like this.
Yeah.
What is a person's minimum responsibility to society?
Yeah, yes. Actually, social responsibility is an ethical theory, right, in which the individuals are accountable for fulfilling their civic duty, and the actions of an individual must benefit the whole of society. Um, in this way, there must be a balance between economic growth and the welfare of society and the environment, I think. Yeah, it's my perspective.
Ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. And uh, while uh, while everyone has this responsibility to carry, uh, a nation's culture resides in the hearts and the soul of its people. Our own Mahatma Gandhi. What is the role of young people, in nation building? We saw the importance of social studies in the life of young people. What is the role of young people now in building the nation?
Yeah. Actually, youth has a responsibility to do their, yeah, a bit for national nation building. Youth should make decisions after much thought and consideration, because they hold the future of our nation in their hands. They should work together with all sections of society to bring about positive change in the country. They should also be involved in activities that promote national unity and solidarity. Uh, and they should focus on their education and build a bright future for themselves and their country. Some would surely have the passion to join the army, then civil services, and in the police department to serve the nation in their respective capacities. Well, yeah, of course, the youth play a very important role in nation building. They are the future of our country, no? And it is very important to groom them to become good leaders. Youth should be encouraged to take up sports and social work to strengthen our society. If a country has a responsible youth, then that youth will definitely lead the country to a better future. Yeah, that's a role of a youth in nation building.
Ma'am, ma'am, thank you so much. Ma'am, tell us about your interests and pursuits apart from education, of course. Tell us about other interests and pursuits that you've been part of over the years.
Yeah, as in the education field, because it's almost 12 years, it's over. Um, Actually, as an educationist, more than a principal, I would like to serve the society. I want to, uh, actually, I want to make my students to involve in the social activities. Actually, I want to teach them how to help others, how they can be a responsible citizen, and actually, I want to make them a leader in different sector. And I know that many of my students will be a leader, will be in a very good position. So as an education, my only aim is to uh, make my students um, as a very good human being and socially understanding people, um, like, for education. I love to give education for life, not for the money, or not for the position, for the sake of position at all. Because in which position they are, they have to respect others. They have to respect the feelings of others. Such all the things. More than this, the education field, I love to do social service, and I should be the role model for my students.
Ma'am. Tell us about some such engagements that you've been part of.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's lot of because I was a mentor in the Nehru Yuva Kendra, and the school where I was working, because I used to involve my students in lot of social activities, because during the flood time, I took my students and some teachers to the flood affected areas, and we were engaging in such all the activities, because if I am involving in such all the activities, definitely my students also will join with me, right? No, these are the lesson I used to give. So in different, because if find a person uh, asking for a help, because I used to collect the number or the details from the newspaper, and all. I am ready to help, and because in many social organization, I am the member in many social organization. So, and we will gather together, and we will just make some initiatives for helping them. A lot of things. That's why I choose this topic.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, sort of a perspective just being shared by one of our participants. I can't get his or her name. Okay, his name is Mr. Saif Ali. Thank you so much for writing in. And Mr. Saif Ali's perspective is that youth should also participate in the judiciary system of the country. I think it's very true. We sort of lack voluntary participation in the judiciary system quite often in our society. Even if you look at it as a career, somehow it ranks somewhere in the bottom sort of lists of most students, most participants nowadays when they are opting for a career. Ma'am, your perspective, your thoughts on the subject.
Yeah, that actually what that participant asked is true, but we have to analyze their experience in that field, their educational background, and actually, because everyone is having that different perspective, right? Definitely, that statement is correct. Yeah, that statement is correct. But we have to analyze their educational background and their experiences. Then we can just make them in. That is my point of view.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Lastly, as for the people who are watching, and if um, a question like, how do I contribute? How do I become part of this? How do I contribute towards society? What would be your immediate answer to questions like this?
Regardless or where you live in the world, you are a part of society, right? As members of a society, we all have a responsibility to help others and to improve the state of the community and the world that we live in. You can do this on both in small and large scale. So some points like we can help people around us, pay attention to the people around us, like and try to ways to address their needs. So we can help people out during everyday life when you we have the opportunity, when like listen to the people in our daily life and show them empathy, not sympathy. Empathy we have to. And we can mentor a young person in your community to build their character. We can volunteer at a community organization to help others in society. Then, like on blood donation day and all, because usually the youths are doing. But even then, we can donate blood if you had like to help injured or unhealthy people. So, and in this on the civic aspects, we can as usual, that's common. Vote in local and national elections to influence society for the better. Then we can find employment in your community that feels meaningful to you, right? So we can pay that's common. That's common. We can pay our taxes in full and on time if you're able. Then enhancing society at large, like support a charity through financial conditions if you have the means, and to teach people in your community useful skills to benefit their lives. Then we can share our specialized knowledge to give back to our local community where we are. So by helping the environment, reduce, reuse, recycle goods whenever it's possible, then conserve fuel by taking public transportation or bicycling weekly. We can see in Amsterdam and all they use, all the people, they are using the bicycle. Then we can plant a tree in a local public area to help clean the air. Then it's common now use solar power in our home to supply in on electricity. That's a something.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so
Actually,
much.
this is a vast topic to discuss
True.
with a lot of things.
Very true. Very true. Ma'am, I just caught on something that you were from what you're sharing. I just caught on something and thought it would be interesting to look at this a little more. You spoke about empathy versus sympathy,
Yeah.
and very often it is not easy to differentiate between these things. So, if you could just share your perspective on the difference between empathy versus sympathy. And while we are on it, we have um, a perspective or a question from Miss Savita, one of our you know uh, participants who joined us. And the question is, how do we develop empathy amongst today's students? So what's the difference? How do we know the difference between empathy versus sympathy? And how do we develop empathy in today's students?
Yeah, I remember because last 5 or 6 years back in the CBSE curriculum, they were just giving lot of activities and lot of articles to read, and we were just including such all the activities in the school level because empathy and sympathy. Actually, everyone is showing that sympathy, but they don't know because it's a lack of knowledge only. Everyone can say and everyone can show the sympathy, but they don't know what is the difference between the sympathy and empathy. Sympathy means just we are saying that okay, oh, it's very pathetic, so how we can just help and all. But empathy means like because if we are moving to them and we have to ask and we have to help them by simply asking. It's not a point, it's not a thing, but we have to be in their position and we have to think what we can do it. So we have to do it, not by saying the thing, but we have to do it. And in the classroom we can give lot of activities, we can create a real life situations there in the classroom. So and the teacher can do the role play, so how we will do and how can we act in such a situations. So in real life situations, how can we make it. So with a lot of examples, because by just saying it is very difficult to understand. But if we are just doing a role play, or if you are just doing some activities in the classroom, definitely they will follow.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Um, just another response or just another thank you to Mr. Saif Ali. I believe, I hope I've got your name right. That's what's showing on the screen. Thank you for your perspective on the judiciary system. Ms. Shweta, thank you for your question on empathy. Mr. Saif also shares another perspective where he says we can also encourage youth to remove social evils from the society to build a great nation. Very true, Mr. Saif. Thank you so much. Yes, we thank you for connecting with us. Ma'am, moving forward, as we had seen, Amrita Cafe aims at serving as a forum to table challenges and explore solutions to cope with the current education scenario. I invite our participants and everyone who's connecting with us at Amrita Cafe. Please do write to us at Amrita. Contact details will be made available. We would love to hear from you on areas that may be included in forthcoming sessions of Amrita Cafe, where we aim to provide insightful information to assure transparency in and around education. I'd like to conclude this forum today evening by thanking all of you for your presence and your views, which will be compiled. Ms. Joseph, thank you for being with us today at Amrita Cafe. I would also like to highlight the efforts of the team behind Amrita Cafe, Ms. Parvati and Ms. Sakshi, who have made things possible and seamless this evening. Ma'am,
Sir,
thank you so much once
yeah,
again.
sir, actually, this is a vast topic to discuss. Hope you could follow at least a few points that I have discussed with you today. I pray and wish that all of us will strive even better to become more responsible citizens in order to build a wonderful society. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a good evening.